Hello, everyone. Ambassador Terry with First Fridays with Ambassador Terry and friends. And my guest this month is Dr. Abe Cruz. Abe, I'm so glad that you're here.
Terry, Ambassador Terry, thank you so much for having me. What a beautiful time to start the year with you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you. Get it going on an upbeat. That's what I think. So this week, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about something that Dr. Abe knows a lot about, and that's compassionate leadership. And that's a big subject, and it's kind of a hot point out there in the workforce right now. So uh, let's start with this. Dr. Abe, you've been working around the compassionate leadership area and then within that vernacular too. How about just starting about what you've been doing and what you are doing, because it's fabulous.
Absolutely. So we're declaring on your show today, Terry, um, the 2023 is going to be the year of the compassionate leadership. That's as frankly as we can do it. The intention is to work harder to make this year the year of the compassionate leader. The reason, because it's very much needed. It's very much needed. So some of the work I'm doing now is dealing with continuing the research on compassionate leadership, what it entails, its benefit, its consequences. It's everything that a leader can benefit from this new model. It's an emerging trend. Um, the idea behind it is to bring humanity back to our organizations and our society in general. If I may define what is a compassionate leader, and then we go from there to break down everything we've done so far.
Good job. You're taking my questions for me.
Excellent. So a compassionate leader is someone who he or she that will do good service to others without receiving anything in return. It's for the greater good. The intention is to help the organization that they work for and lead, and the people that work within that organization, plus the society they operate within. During my research, I came up with a model which is called the pyramid of the journey of the compassionate leadership. And in this pyramid, the research led us to 7 levels of compassion that a leader can go through. And these are based on being mindful and self-aware. Being mindful of self-aware. So it really is working on creating a model that a leader can jump into at any time and slowly but surely become the leader that we wish him or her to become. But it is being it's based on being mindful. You have to be mindful of where you're at in the journey, and you have to also to be self-aware. And we teach all of that. We guide them how to do it, how to become and uh, when you have to really to decide to what level you want to be. One time, you and I, we talked about the pyramid and we covered the journey and also the 7 levels. I can go further on this, or I can take your second questions, whatever is convenient for you.
I'd like you to continue because that's a
Okay,
good roll into
excellent.
what the 7 times that are really important to come out. So let's bring those
Absolutely.
out
So,
right
in
away.
the first level of the pyramid is the self-compassion, and in this level is an individual where he or she, I may say they, if I continue with that, they would actually work on themselves. They develop themselves for the betterment of others. The reason they do self-compassion here is not being selfish and only me or helping the self only. No, you're doing the idea behind it is you become the best you can become for one purpose, to serve the society you're in, whether a family, whether an organization, whether a country. Basically, you develop the self that within you to the best of your ability with one purpose. That purpose is to continue serving others. The next level is the next of kin. After you develop yourself, you jump to the next level, which is you develop and improve your spouse, children, cousins, neighbors, the next of kin, the environment that surrounds you. You develop that, and you jump to another level, which is the community. You jump to the community. In that community, it's the local community. So in that community, you patronize its business leaders, its business environment, its everything to deal with making that environment functional and vibrant and viable. So you develop yourself, you develop the next of kin, and then you go to the local community. After that, you go to the organization. In that organization, you as a leader, you care for the stockholders, shareholders, you care for the leadership itself, you care for the organization and its environment, meaning the employees are very much within this model, because you don't only want them to survive, you want them to thrive. This is important. And then you jump to the other level, which is the consumer, and the consumer that is making your job and bringing you the amount needed for you to function and receive the income and the funds needed. So you also work on serving them and creating value to them along the way. These are like these levels, the fourth level, and then you go to the other level, the other actual community now, the community overall, and here you become. This is where called the corporate responsibility. The corporate responsibility, where you actually contribute to the society you're in to improve it, so it will pay back to you and to its, of course, to its citizens. And then you go to the society, the sixth level. You go to the society, and the society is, you think more as a global, as a leader within the society, also to improve it, to contribute to its political system, to improve to its, if your local election, what else is needed in the society to make it better. And all of these levels are based on being mindful and being self-aware. Now, the last level, which is the top of the peak of the pyramid, is the helping others, which is you become a compassionate leader. This is meant and reserved to the best of us. These leaders on this level are authentic, transparent, I would say even moral. Take that level they have a level of richer humanity where they will serve others without receiving anything in return. All the other levels, there's always something, what about me? What about me? The I in us. The highest level is where you don't think of yourself anymore. You melt into the society, into the environment you're helping. And in that level is reserved to the most, not necessarily but important, but the most authentic of us, the one that care. That level, as you reach it up, I want to put this something very quick. Before us is occupied by people that do not have the same value as you have. So as you reach it up, you expect others not to make you successful. So you're going to share it with people that would not want you to change the status quo. When we say compassionate leader, a compassionate leader is someone who cares for the society for its betterment. There are elements within the same society, organization, environment, or whatever it is, within the same environment you're in, that they don't want the status quo to be changed. So expect resistance on this level. So this level, the journey of it is, if you go one by one, there are also criteria within each level where the leader would learn and the leader would improve. So this way, they're ready for everything, regardless of what the status, the stage they're in, and the phase they're in. I want to tell you about the research finding. The research finding: there are 70% of people that we surveyed and we talked to. 70% of people. This is the scary part. They love to help others. 70% of them, we call them the masses. 70%, they love to help others and they are willing to help others. They're eager to help others. The only challenge is they need a leader that is compassionate to lead them. If they have a leader that is not with the same value, they will also go with that leader. They care for the society, their intention is good, but they go to what to benefit them. If you have a leader that is not authentic and would lead them, they will actually go with that leader. If they haven't, although intentionally they would say, let's do it, but they also have the mentality, what the Roman do will do. But they go with the Romans. They go with the idea is what the leader does, will go with that leader. Now, you have 4% of those people that we surveyed, leaders we surveyed. 4%, they are very much the go-getter. These individuals, they actually will initiate the process of helping society and helping the environment they're in. 18% we have here, 18% those are indifferent, meaning they were burned by the system. They helped others, and then others don't want to help themselves, so they said, we don't care. And then you have another 8%. Those 8% are like they will go with whatever the process is, whatever they go with the leaders, where they go with the 4%, and they are also initiators to make the 4% plus the society, the 70% come along. And the remaining percentage are whatever the environment is. Whatever the environment is, they just go. They're tired of the system, tired of everything. They were, they helped others, but in the same time, others stabbed them back in the back, or some sort of betrayal. So they gave up on the process. Those people are indifferent in a way that are saying, I don't want to help you. And that's the scary part as well. They're saying, I don't want to help these individuals because they don't want to help themselves. They do exist. They say, we don't care. The system is there. The opportunity is there. Let them help themselves. So these are as far as percentages. Now, the benefits of the compassionate leadership is being collaborative. The environment is you become more collaborative. You share values. As far as helping others is important to society. The diversity is more authentic. When you say we including others, it's more authentic. You're not pretending in any way. The other values I would have, the society and the community, they're more involved. Members of the society and community are more involved in the process, and they believe the compassionate leader is, the minute they sense is authentic, they are more involved in the process. So the other things, it's the leader is based on an environment. It's an environment-based leader, meaning leaders that they will sense what the environment is and they will go with it, or they don't go with it. But the 4% that we talked about a little bit earlier, those 4% are the one that will initiate the process to create an environment or organization that is compassionate, transparent, and authentic.
Absolutely. We've had conversations ourselves a number of times about my consortium new business model for the 21st century, where just exactly what you're talking about, you're growing leaderships into ethical leaders and members of society and community that are contributory. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, again, we're talking about compassionate leadership here today. And what does that mean to you? Hop in comments and let's hear a little bit from you folks out there. I think it's important too that that person, your pyramid is perfect. Whatever the vision is or that creation of where the company is going is going to flow downhill anyway. So let's make sure that the person up there believes in themselves and where they're going, so that they can project that down and bring that into leadership. Because an achievement-based company where they're not thinking about sales goals and quotas all the time, They're focusing on achievement. They work together better. People don't burn out when you're having a good time all the time, you know?
They could have a good time. They could have a good time. They could have
Yeah.
an objectives of high sales, but in the same time, the environment is more inclusive toward the overall the greater of good to the
Yeah.
society environment plus its people. So uh, there is also the concept of being empathetic. So we say an empathetic leader. What do we mean by that? Compassionate leader, as we're defining, is someone who cares for others without receiving anything in return. Empathetic leader is someone who feels the pain of others and probably walk in their shoes, possibly. But compassionate leadership is the action, where empathetic leadership is the intention. I see someone is being hurt. I feel it. I'll try to do something about it. The minute you do something about it, this is where compassion comes. And compassionate leadership is not pity. You're not pitying the environment you're in. You're in. You're actually improving it. It takes someone with a great, powerful, brave intention to say, "I'm compassionate." Is not. This is not for the weak. This is for someone who really believes society has to change, and they will speak up. They will speak up and they will do something about it. If you don't do anything, you're part of the 30% because you're benefiting, you're receiving the income needed, you're having your quality of life, and you care less for others. You're within the 70% we found that if you do tell them help others, they will help others, but you have to tell them. They're not initiators. But if there's somebody else comes and say, why would we have these to help these people? Let them go back to where they came from. They don't deserve it. They don't have the education. The age is not good. They're old enough. Leave them out. We need new blood. They will go with the flow. It's very scary. So what we need to continue with this, and that's why I'm saying 2023 is the year of the compassionate leadership, is because we are going after this. We are going to say, no, that's not acceptable because you're doing something that helped you and not the society you lived in. The reason we have what we have is because not everybody said, you know what, we really have to help them authentically. If we can't help them with money, monetarily, we help them with guidance, education. Talk to the city, call the city and have them do something about it because they have the resources. You become a voice for those who don't have a voice. Compassionate leadership, if employed properly, will make life better for everybody involved. It's very interesting when we talk about collaboration, which is true, but what does collaboration mean? Collaboration for what? Is it just we involved and we covered the objective and met the objective of the organization only? Is that really why we go in work? In the past, to maximize the profit share of the shareholders was the aim. With time, changed a little bit. Now we're saying no. Not only the shareholders. I want to make shareholders billionaires. Because I'm working as a leader there, I'm going to make sure that they succeed and the organization succeeds so the return on investment is high. The reason I want them to succeed, when they see profit is coming their way, so they reinvest again. When they reinvest again, I can use it to help the consumer. I can help the employee and their families. When we talk on next of kin, this is not just me improving, although the employee improving. And that next of kin, we help them to improve the society they're in. The minute you improve all, I know it's a dream. And most people say, what are you saying? But the minute we do this and we can make it really a viable thing, it will improve everybody. The employee will be happy to come and work because we're talking about the 70%. The 70% believe this organization is giving them what they're looking for. And a compassionate leader could be successful in any position they're in because they're improving the unimproved. They're helping those people who don't believe they can be helped. They can, because they see a role model that is authentic, a role model that's saying, hey, we can do it. Compassionate leadership has transformational leadership, has functional leadership, transactional leadership, has empathetic leadership, has any kind of leadership that you may think of, servant leadership. Compassionate leadership is the top of them all. The minute you become mindful in that position, you really have them all within your character and attributes and characteristics. So it's very interesting, and I welcome any questions that your audience have or you have, so we can explore it further.
Certainly, and folks, you know, if you're picking this up on a recording, leave comments on below there. We're going to be monitoring them so that we can respond to your queries. And you know, this has been just fabulous. You know, I've had half of my questions answered in your pyramid. You know, so it's like I'm loving this, and you know. People just respond better, ladies and gentlemen, when leadership and the people above them simply acknowledge their existence as a human being. They connect to them as a person, not an expense line. And for you leaders out there, this is huge. This is a paradigm shift, and you're seeing it since COVID. And your timing on this, Dr. Abe, has been fabulous, and I thank you again for popping in on First Fridays. And ladies and gentlemen, like I said, leave some comments down there. We'll respond to them and keep the conversation going. And any final comments that come up that you can think of, Dr. Abe?
Well, absolutely. I mean, COVID was really the very essential of us thinking bravely like this, because before, in the past, you have a status quo and everybody's living with it. But COVID came and changed everything. COVID came to us and said the I in us doesn't work anymore. We have to move into the we. We have to morph it into the we. We collectively can succeed. With COVID, the reason first few months, and probably the first half of COVID, we didn't succeed because the leadership didn't know what to do at the time. And slowly but surely, we start the community. We talked about the community here. The community and the people within the community came and said, we have to do this. And they start guiding the leadership. Leadership somehow listened or didn't. But when they listened, an achievement start to help the society to improve on COVID. And slow, because now the USA, the statistics we have now worldwide, the USA is the most successful society in fighting COVID, vaccination, taking care of it. Why? Because it took two elements: the government help, and then the people within the society saying yes, that is acceptable. So they function together. Now we still have people don't believe in it, which is fine. Those are the 70% or the 18%. It's the E and I. They don't believe in anything. They don't believe in helping society. We still have to remind them, because when you become compassionate, you don't really have enemies. You are helping society in general, regardless if they believe in your message or they don't. You are helping them because you are the highest level. You're the most authentic, and you know they are misguided, so you don't take it against them. My message here: there are no enemies in the compassionate leadership. You don't have bad employees. All your employees are on the same level. So this way you can help them with compassion, not pity, compassion, to improve them, to improve their lives for the betterment of that specific environment you're in. The minute you reach that level as a leader, if we have a message to leaders, don't be afraid to practice compassionate leadership. You're not weak, you're the strongest. You're strongest amongst leaders out there that practice compassionate leadership, because compassionate leadership takes guts. When we talk about it now, we're changing the status quo, Terry. This show is leading that way, but you're changing the status quo, saying, listen, you already know about my other initiative, revamping capitalism. Capitalism is beautiful as is, but it needed guidance. So when you have that, and you're able to do that, then you're successful. But you're changing the status quo. To change the status quo is not acceptable things. By the way, I have a feline saying hello to you. Wants to have some breakfast, I guess. So that's what it is, really, is just to be authentic, be compassionate, and the reward is yours. Whatever you do as a leader, you will be rewarded. you'll be rewarded regardless of what you invest now. At the end, successful leaders, that's mean what you leave behind is not how much money you made the company. And remember, we see that in our friends and family and society in general. It's not how much you have, it's what you did for others, how you serve them. And that's the same thing as a leader. You would be remembered like this. You would look, the employees would look at back and say, wow, James was this, Barbara was that. Not how much money, how pretty, how beautiful. No, how much education she has. What did she do to improve our lots within this organization? Did she make the employees thrive instead of survive? If you're a leader and you're able to do this, just it's a mindset. Be brave enough to say, I'm going to change this environment I'm in, regardless of what others say or do. At the end, your organization will win. The organization that cares for its people, it's an organization that will thrive and live longer than others, because these employees are going to be the assets that will fight for your survival and for you to thrive. It's a very interesting concept, and I really hope people do come on board with this. Come on board with us, Terry and I and other people doing this and acting for the benefit of others. If you do that, we all will be winners, and the society will be a winner.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, don't expect instant feedback for being a genuine person within and empathic and empathy and all of that stuff. Sometimes it takes a while. You know, I'm sure Dr. Abe would agree with this. You know, there's times where I've left a company, it's years later, somebody reached out to me and said, you know what, we sure wish you were back, because you were such a positive impact to our company and stuff like that. And then, you know, the payback's there. They listened, they connected. Yeah. And that's really one of the more important things of leadership is connection with the people. You know, you can put a lot of content out here on social media, but without a message, it's just hit and miss. So, Dr. Abe, wonderful. Thank you so much for doing this. This has just been another fabulous First Friday with Ambassador Terry and friends. And we'll see you soon.
Terry, hold on. I want to have somebody to say hi to you. He jumped on the desk. He jumped on the desk. Say hi.
Security's there.
Say hi.
Hello. Say hi.
This is precious. He jumped on the desk while I'm talking to you. So thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to your audience. And we'll talk again. I know. Oh, can I cover some of the things we have for next year or this year as far as what we're doing very quickly? We have the symposium, the fourth symposium for the fourth virtual Global Thought Leader Symposium. That's going to be on October 8th. This time, we're going to talk about Peter Drucker, the legacy of Peter Drucker, the myth and the man. We're going to have a very special guest, Len Jessup, which is the president of the Claremont Graduate University. And that university is where was the university where Peter Drucker came and established his first MBA course, program. So Len is going to come and talk about what happened in 50 years back to us, about the school, about the concept, about the theories, about the philosophy of Peter Drucker. We also have president of another university. And then, of course, we have Dave Urich, our dear friend, Dr. Dave. We have Bruce. And I have another guest. So it's going to be something memorable. And I'm having that registered at the Library of Congress. So with time, I'll put that on my page if people want to follow that. We're going to be talking about the legacy of Peter Drucker, plus the other shows I do and everything else. So if someone interested, follow us. Continue following Terry. From Terry, you can kind of link to us. But just be compassionate. Your day, your call for the day, go and be compassionate. It's a good thing. It's a sweet thing to have.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, that's another First Friday with Ambassador Terry and friends. We'll see you soon here on 2 Minute Tuesdays or whatever, or next month on First Friday. Thanks again.